Hey, what's going on everybody? Mike here, AHC Garage. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are with John's EK Hatchback and John's over there getting everything set up. Today's video we'll get started and put this car back together, and let's get with John and see what he's doing over there. Hey John, what are you doing over here, buddy?
Well, we took this car apart quite some time ago and we put everything in these boxes, and I'm trying to go through and see what we have and what we need to start putting it back together. Everything's in here, and man, there's a lot of stuff. So trying to get an inventory of what we have, keep what we need, and see what we need to replace. That kind of seems to be the plan right now. Wiping off a lot of the dust and stuff from the body shop. There's a lot to do, so we're trying to figure out the best way to do it where we don't make other jobs harder for ourselves. But I think the first thing we have to do is get the door latches back on, the door checks back in, so that we can open and close the door without causing damage to the paint and the door jambs. I have new seals and stuff for all of here. So that's something that we're gonna start working on right now. And we'll just keep moving in that direction. As we knock one thing out, we'll move to the next thing. We're trying to come up with a plan, but there's not a solid one. So, you know, if it looks weird when we're doing it, don't judge us. Just keep watching. It'll get better, I promise. See it there? All right. That should fit to that one there, right? Oh yeah, perfect. All right, so we're starting to make progress, and I'm also finding that being a year in between touching the car and taking it apart has meant I've misplaced a bunch of parts, mostly screws. Hardware is kind of an issue. So we did put some of our strikers in on the door here. Right here, I put the pin in for the door light. I don't have these screws. That's gotta get ordered. The bumpers for here have to get ordered. We did get the hatch pretty much all together, all of the linkages inside. I haven't put the key cores in. I have something kind of special planned for the key for this car. I'll tell you that when we get a little bit closer to it. All of the wiring is in here for the tail lights. We got the glass on. We have the wing on. We didn't test fit the wing. It looks like I have a little bit of clearance issue. May have to talk to the master painter about that, see what he can do to help us, but I think you're starting to get the look of it, and this is the look I wanted. I really love the Osaka JDM wing. I mean, I like the spoon wing. This is like the spoon wing with a little bit more style to it, and that's kind of what I'm going for on the car. And I think we're making progress. It's a little slow because I'm not totally prepared, but progress is progress, and we're gonna keep moving on when I find more parts that I probably misplaced and order new hardware. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put the new mounting hardware in the glass for the rear hatch struts. I have new aluminum piece, seal, and the locking clip from the back. All right, so now it's time to put the tail lights in. I have a nice set of tail lights here that we re-cleared and sanded them down to get all the imperfections out so they look nice and clean. But these have to go with some brand new Resto Tuner tail light gaskets. They have a lot of cool reproduction stuff for some of these golden era cars that's getting harder to get in a decent factory equivalent. This is the factory equivalent. Some companies sell them where they're a little bit thicker, some sell them they're a little thinner. These seem to work really good from everyone I know that's used them. So we're gonna peel off the old ones and put the new ones on and get it on the car.
So we trying to take off and remove the factory OEM gasket. I guess from factory actually glued on the edge of the tail lights. And this is the type of stuff that we don't really show you guys. Taking a lot more time than we anticipated. So I think the trick for us so far right now is get a heat gun, kind of heat up the plastic around it. Not enough where you can actually delaminate and damage the tail lights and slowly pull off the tape and the foam. It's gonna take some time, so be patient.
Just like that, we got light.
Very nice.
All right, with the combination of rep seals, what run channels are aftermarket, this is a factory seal here, and then the soft seal on the inside, that's aftermarket as well. Everything on here all together, it looks really good. Everything fits awesome. We're gonna do a little buffing on the glass. It's got a lot of overspray on it, and we'll get that up cleaned again, and then we'll get it all back in. Start putting our door panels together, but already she's coming together. And it's very exciting. And this seal, you could see it, it just fits beautifully the whole way around. All right, so we have our new hardware in the latch. Latch is in place. We adjusted the striker. It's working good. We just put the glass in. Mike's using our very fancy power probe that we showed you guys in the previous video about to run the window up and down. Looks like the regulator is working pretty good, Mike. What do you think?
Really, really good. And this tool is awesome. I think it's like 60 bucks.
Yeah.
It's from Autel. It's not a power probe, but it does everything that the power probe does.
Do you call it a power probe, or what do they call it? I know Power Probe's a brand.
I don't know. They call it power scan.
Oh, a power scan. But the idea is that it's
same thing.
Yeah, same thing, and it works really, really good.
Yeah, give you a readout. You got a ground, you got power, you can apply ground, and you can apply power. Really good tool.
And thinking we were only going to use it a couple times, and now it's a pretty important part of the whole process. Yeah. So all we have left to do here is our belt moldings and our sash moldings on the outside here. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side.
Let's do it again.
So these mirrors are not super expensive spoon mirrors. They're super cheap Amazon mirrors that have a very beautiful paint finish that Brian applied to them. Since the car has EX doors and is wired that way, I got them power because why not? I have it. So I have to just reassemble them now. It's very simple, a few screws. They're not made super great, but they were super cheap, and that was pretty much the idea. Well, so far everything's looking beautiful. We have our belt molding in. We have the eBay special spoon rep mirrors. I could just call them real spoons. No one knows the difference. But everything's come together real good. We're waiting to put the door handles in because what we're doing on this is we're having my shop foreman, Willie, rekey the whole car so that the key from my 94 NSX operates all the locks on this door, just on this car. So it's kind of a little special thing, a little homage to my other car, both red, same key works on both. So we're gonna go ahead and do the same on the other. Sash moldings came in for an EK, so got to reorder those again, and then keep making progress. I did find the factory seals for this, but they were used. Fortunately, out of Thailand, there's a lot of aftermarket support, and this seal is aftermarket, and this seal is aftermarket, and that completes all of our sealing for this. Everything lined up perfect, came with all the retaining clips that you needed, the double-side tape where it's supposed to go, and this thing latches beautifully. And then this. Very nice. Now all the seals, they're not set in right now. They're really puffed out. So as the car sits with it closed, it'll start to close a little bit easier and not be so hard to close. But right now, when you pop it, this thing thumps. This is also an aftermarket seal that goes around the window.
Hey, John.
What's up, Poppy?
I get an idea. Why don't could we make such good progress here, and why don't we swap the wheels out?
Oh, you know, that's something. I got a bunch of wheels, man.
I know you do. You have like 11 sets.
Don't put my business out there, man.
So the GSRs are coming off. What do you have?
Why don't you come here? Let's take a look. So what I have is my Lap Battle Sprint Heart CPs that I won in a raffle a long time ago. And I think these will look pretty good on the car. I got them wrapped in some beautiful Yokohama, what are these? The Nuova Advan AD08Rs. So let's throw them on the car, see how it looks. Jason can't use them as his table anymore.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all.
All right, so now it's time to start with the brakes. And we have the honed brake master delete, or brake booster delete, I should say. And the cool thing about the honed setup is when you normally do a brake master booster delete, again, did that twice, it throws off the ratio for the pedal. So the placement of the clevis that goes onto the brake pedal is no longer in the right place, and the factory rod is not correct. So what they came up with is this new rod, a different type of spacer than what you're used to seeing for a booster delete, and there's a small template in here to re-drill the hole for the clevis on the pedal. So we got to start by re-drilling the hole on the pedal, and then we can start assembling everything. So in the instructions, it says to drill a hole, an 8mm hole, 15 millimeters up and 12 millimeters in, and then reshape this edge so that the, where is it at? Oh, it's over here. So that the clevis will fit inside of here like so, and still give you enough travel on here without binding. So we're going to test it, fit it, and make sure that we have enough clearance right now, and let's see how that goes. Someone's got to go on the inside.
Want to put any touch up on that?
We have the lines all drilled and bulkheads drilled and through the firewall. We have our 2 lines from the master cylinder, our 2 lines to the rear brakes. We check to make sure which one is which by putting some air into the line here and making sure that it stops the wheel back there. So we know that this is the right rear, this is the left rear, this is the front port on the master cylinder, this is the back port on the master cylinder. We have 1 line that we went ahead and just already started to run. This goes to the right front wheel, and then we still have to drill and mount the one for the left front wheel, which we're going to do that right now. And once we have all that done, we'll put it into the corresponding ports on here, which every one of these has a specific port that has to go to so that the brakes are properly proportioned using the proportioning valve of the proportioning.
Wow, that's pretty good, John.
I figured if I said proportioning more, it'd make it sound like I know what I'm talking about, but the internet has helped me a lot. So what we're going to do now is we're going to drill a hole in this area here and put our bulkhead fitting through into the inside of the car, and then we're going to run a line that goes from here to here. And this one, the top one was the right front, right rear. Right rear goes to the top. All right, so we have this concoction of hoses in a position we think is going to work just fine, but we're going to test fit the air box and make sure that it clears everything. I'm pretty sure it does already, but we want to find out now if it does or it doesn't, so we can make modifications to our mounting first. So let's give it a shot and see. Am I in the right spot?
You're gonna go to the left, the driver's side. There you go, right there. How are we looking?
Looks like everything clears perfectly, and I believe that's how it will be mounted. I am very happy and totally satisfied with the situation. Cannot complain. So now we're going to work on running the engine bay harness. This is the headlight harness, AC harness area. It's a tuck harness, so it doesn't run inside the bay. The idea is you run it on the outside of your fenders, somewhere along the route like this, and everything's a little bit less exposed. This is from Carrot Top Tuning. It was very reasonably priced. Very nice setup. Comes with all of the wiring in for the side markers. It comes labeled. For the wiper motor, it comes, every single plug is labeled, and it makes it very easy for that. What we're trying to figure out right now is how we get this part into the car, and that's what we're going to figure out. Is it going to be a big hole? Maybe. We're going to find out soon. So we have the harness run into the car. There was an existing plug here. We made a little bit bigger. We used a body plug from one of our cars here in the dealership. When we're all done and we know we don't have to run any more wires inside, we'll pack this full of silicone and keep it nice and watertight, so that way when you're driving it's not going to fling water inside the car. But for now we're just getting it all laid out. We can't make anything past here permanent till we start adding components into the engine bay, because we don't know what we're going to need and where we're going to need it. Oh, look at this. Okay.
So on that side. That plugs into that. And then this one here.
Oh, and this has to plug in.
Now this is going to run that way.
This one's going to run your way.
Run that.
And we can pull the AC out.
This is going to plug in here.
So TJ is down here playing with my 30-year-old harness that I would never replace a harness with a new one if I had access to a 30-year-old one. But that's what we're doing right now, is we're putting a new harness in. And TJ is finding the plug where the harness goes into the body control area, and everything crosses over as far as headlights.
Got it.
Oh, there it is. You hear that beautiful click of salvation? That was TJ doing his magic. Some people call him Type S Terry, but you know. Would you put a new harness in?
I would, but I'd like to go get some food from Barbican Square.
Barbican Square, huh? So we got the basis of the harness set up inside the car. I have some more cleaning up I'm going to have to do, but in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and try and refresh the HVAC box with some new foams and whatnot on here, clean it up. So the first thing we got to do is get the old stuff off. That's tedious. And then we'll start by adding a whole bunch of brand new foam onto it. All right, so we have the harness run to where it's kind of tucked out of the way. We got a bunch of zip ties on it. We got all the brakes set up, and now we're gonna start fitting the AC components and making sure that everything clears, and one by one putting them in. We might have to leave, I think, the blower box out just so that we still have access to run our wires through here, but we're still gonna mock everything up and make sure that it fits properly and we don't have to move harnesses into another location. So we refoamed the box over here and all the seals in between so that we don't lose air from the blower and the AC heater system to just getting blown out underneath the dash. This will give us good pressure. And right now we're gonna go ahead and put the heater core box on the firewall and then continue to build off of that. The AC HVAC systems in 3 components: the box, the evaporator, and the blower. So let's start by putting this in. So we mocked up the AC. We see what's going to work for us there. We decided we're going to leave the dash for one of the last things we put in the car. That way, if we have to run any more wires inside, access is easy. And we're keeping certain AC components mounted so that we know the path that we have to run and we don't cause any interference on the inside. But in the time being now, we're going to do some work on the rack and pinion. The rack and pinion is how it came with the car. Hopefully it's good. I never drove the car. It's a manual rack. There's not a whole lot that can go bad in it. But these are some components from Honda Performance. And what they're going to do is eliminate the rubber bushings on the rack and give us some solid mounting so we don't have any play in the rack. So it should be pretty straightforward. We're going to disconnect the rack, slide it forward some, see if we have to disconnect it from the steering column, and then just slip these new pieces in. Should be simple. I hope. I say that before everything and then it's always difficult, so we'll see. GSR brace.
That's what that is?
Yeah. So we have our bumper supports in. This is going to help hold the bumper up into place. You can see we got some new hardware here. We were working with Resto Tuner and they supplied us with a whole bunch of hardware. This hardware is actually from almost 3 years ago. Now they have different finishes and OEM style bolts, but this still works for me because I'm not super concerned with the OEM look. I'm concerned with the consistency of the zinc coated for everything. So this is what we're going to be using on the fenders and everywhere that a bolt's required. That one fits.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Nice gap all the way around. What we gotta do is finish up the side of the bumper here. Both sides, I think we're good to go.
We have everything fitted up here, our headlights, the bumper. This bumper is aftermarket, so fitment is okay at best. And also this bumper has been off the car for a long time. So it's gonna need some time to reshape itself, but we do have the Mac Lift bumper kit, lift kit that will go on side here and mount a bracket and bring this up nice and tight, and that should help us get some of this gap out because we're gonna have to push it back and get it to fit a little more. But aftermarket bumper again, so I know OE fit isn't what I'm gonna get out of it, but it's the best we can do at this time. All right, so now we have the front end together. It's loosely put together, just fitting everything. Now, like I said before, the bumper's aftermarket, so there are gaps and certain things that you wouldn't get with a good OEM bumper, but that's okay because perfection is not what we were going for here. I know that we can get this gap fixed with our Max Lift bumper kit. We have one of those waiting to go on. That'll be one of the last things we install. There's still a front lip to install on here. But we got the headlights in, everything's mocked up really nice. Now you're starting to get the vision of the car and these little, you know, goals that we hit, achievements, this is progress. And seeing the progress of the car going together is what it's all about. We also have the wiper cowl over here. We got to refinish that. And then I think the engine's going to be going in on the next video here. And that way we'll clear up a lot more of the crap we got laying around from all the stuff here. And the car's just one step closer to starting, driving, and killing it in the mountains and on the racetrack. Pretty car. It's definitely going to need some PPF, at least on the front end, so I don't destroy this thing on the highway. But I think it's coming along perfect. The vision is coming together, and that's what it's all about. And I couldn't have done it without Mr. Mike Chand over here. All right, that's a wrap for this week. We'll see you guys on the next one. It's going to have a lot of good content in it, and I know everyone's going to love it.